Hi, welcome to a day's gym resistance band workout. This is the first of a series that we're going to be doing, and I just wanted to start with showing you some of the bands that we've got at home, all of which you can buy pretty easily online. If you check the drop down box below, there'll be links to all of our places, including our coffee account, our GoFundMe, Facebook and Instagram, and I'll also include some links of places you can buy these. I'm not sure what stock or delivery times are going to be like at the moment, but at least it will give you an idea of what you're after. There's all sorts of different kinds of bands that you can buy. The only one you actually need is one of these. I've forgotten how long it is, Dave.
42 inches.
42 inches. It's just one continuous circle. You can hold it singly, you can hold it double, you can stand on them really sturdy. They do come in different thicknesses, so obviously the thicker it is, the more resistance you get out of the band. You can buy a mixed pack of them. You can also get these. These are a bit more comfortable, particularly if you're wrapping them around your legs. They're a soft cottony feel with elastic on the inside. These tend to be called hip circles rather than resistance bands. And finally, there's really skinny rubbery ones. Again, these come in different resistances. This one's a medium one. They come in packs, they're cheap as chips. So for about 20 to 30 quid, you can get everything you need, but really this is the only one. This will get you through. For those of you who are used to training in the gym and not exclusively with resistance bands, we tend to organise things a bit differently because you will end up lashing the elastic bands around various things in your home, doorways, doorknobs, around your knees, things like that. So it makes sense to get yourself in one position and do all the exercises for that position before moving on to the next one. In terms of making exercises harder, you can do more repetitions, you can do more sets, or you can increase the range of motion through the exercise that you're doing. So Dave's going to be talking us through the techniques and the teaching points. He'll be suggesting amounts of time to fill or repetitions to do, but feel free to vary that to suit yourself.
Okay, so we're going to do exercise 1. Jim, shut your face. And Zoe is putting on the band over her feet and then just above the knees. Okay, so it's above the kneecaps. You don't want to be too high up into the thighs, just above the knees, not on the knee joints. That's going to get uncomfortable. And then feet are going to be shoulder width apart, and she's going to come down into a squat position. I'm just going to spin around so you can sort of see where she's at. Okay, so she's leant forward about 45 degrees. Stick the bum out. Okay, feet are shoulder width apart, and you're pushing your knees out against the band, and that's real important. Okay, this is an exercise for the outside of your bum. What do you call them?
Saddlebags.
Saddlebags. Okay, so down you go, position, and it's going to be 3 little steps and back. And you want to do this as your first exercise for this workout, and you're going to do this over and over again for 2 minutes. Okay, so you're in a squat position and you're trying to push out, not with your foot sliding out, but with your knee pushing out. So it's your knee pushing out as the band, not your foot. And it's 3 little steps. Each step Zoe's taking 6 inches, no more. And you can see her feet never get narrower than shoulder width apart. And it should start to ache a bit already.
Any minute now.
Yeah. So there we go. That's about a minute. We're going to keep going. Keep going.
My bum hurts.
Does it? Well, that's exactly the point of it. Okay, and it is like an immediate feel it in your bum muscles. Okay, just backwards and forwards. That's it. What I'm going to get to do now is pause at the end of this 3. Squat down a little deeper. Push the knees out against the band. Now come back for 3. Pause. Readjust the squat. Push the knees out. That's it. Come back. Pause. Push the knees out hard. And then come back. And that slowing it down with the pause really makes things work a lot harder, doesn't it? There we go. Exercise 1. Exercise number 2 for today's workout. What's this one called, Zoe?
Glute bridge.
The glute bridge, sometimes called a hip thrust as well. So the band's in the same position over the knees, And you can see Zoe's feet are shoulder width apart.
Decent bit of tension on the band.
And she's pushed her knees out against the band. I like to have the toes pointed out a bit, and rather than having your feet flat on the floor, push with your heels so your toes are off the floor. And that brings the hamstrings out of the equation a little bit and puts more emphasis onto the bum muscles, the glutes. Okay, hands flat on the floor. Okay.
No pushing off the floor because it's cheating.
Yeah, and then just come into hip extension, pause, push your knees out, back down. Good. And I'm going to do, well, Zoe's going to do 20 of these, and I'm just going to talk about technique. Okay, so I'm just going to come slowly around to the side. Try to keep my shadow off Zoe. At this top position, if you hold it for a bit longer this time, there's a nice straight line between the shoulder, the hip, and the knee. Okay, keep going. You don't want to get to the top and push your belly through, so do it bad and push through too high at the butt. So you don't want to push the belly through, that arches the back. You don't want to feel it in your lower back. You want to feel it into the bum. Always a pause at the top, and always a reset of the knees pushing out against the band at the top. That's good. So up, pause, knees out. Up, pause, knees out. Up, pause, knees out. Good. Heels are still pushing, so the foot's off the floor except the heel. And you can see Zoe's hands are on the floor, but she's not pushing into the floor to help her do it.
If you feel like cheating, put them on your chest.
Yeah. And again, 20 reps of these, and I suggest 3 sets of 20 with about 30 seconds to 60 seconds rest in between each set. That feels like 20 to me. Okay. That's good. Well done. How did that feel?
Felt like it was good for me.
Oh, that bad, huh? So next we're going to do good old-fashioned squats, okay? Basically, the most important exercise in the world. And with bands, we can add resistance in a couple of ways. What we're going to do today is going to add resistance by putting a band, either a small band or a longer band, doubled up, like so.
I feel like an air hostess.
There you are. Exits to the right and straight ahead. And you can put that around your knees. We're going to use the little band today on this particular one, but again...
This is medium, so this is especially for Simon. You know who you are.
Yes, Simon. Medium build. So again, it goes in the same place as the last one. I wouldn't be using the thicker bands for this exercise, especially if you're tall like Zoe. There's just way too much resistance in the bottom of the squat. So, squat-wise, feet are shoulder width apart.
Thanks, I'm in a divot.
You're in a divot.
I'm in a divot.
It's all divoty. Okay, feet are shoulder width apart, toes are pointed out. Okay, and Zoe's going to take a deep breath, hold it, arms are up, and she squats down, pauses, and pushes the knees out against the band. Good. And again, pauses and push the knees out. Can you give me a 90-degree view? Pauses and pushes out. Good.
Don't be afraid to lean forward at the bottom. You don't have to squat down whilst remaining bolt upright.
Yeah.
Squat down, lean forward, and at the bottom, you can feel your stomach on the top of your legs.
That's right.
Butt squeeze at the top.
The longer your thigh bones are relative to your shin bones, the more you'll have to lean forward. Okay. And as I said, Zoe's tall, so she'll just have to lean forward a bit more anyway. But she's pausing at the bottom of every squat and pushing the knees out against the band. That's good. As you perform the exercise, you actually want to be holding your breath. So you're going to breathe in and out at the top of each rep. So Zoe's going to breathe in now, do the squat, up you come, breathe out, breathe in again. But actually move on a held breath. This is important. And if anybody's told you any different, they're absolutely wrong. That's good.
What about sets and reps?
Oh, sets and reps. Because we're not adding resistance to this except on the knees themselves, quite high, we're going to go for 20 reps and 3 sets of 20. Again, 30 to 60 seconds rest in between. You could do this exercise whilst holding a kettlebell, a dumbbell, or even a barbell. And it's a really good way to get people to sort of do proper technique with a barbell across their shoulders and engage the right muscles, because the knee band...
Water, also good.
Also good. Or a small child. Or 74 packs of toilet paper. And there we go. The squat. Thank you very much. We're going to shift from the lower body now up to the upper body. with the perennial favourite with the elastic band, which is the band pull apart. Now this is a fabulous exercise for the muscles that lie in between your shoulder blades, which are great for improving and increasing your posture. So if Zoe stands sideways onto me, if you've got poor posture and rounded shoulders, okay, a lot of it is from tight chest muscles, okay, sitting, typing, sitting on your phone, and having weak upper back muscles, especially the ones that lie between the shoulder blades, which are called the rhomboids, which you never need to know ever again. Now, if we can strengthen those and you can stretch out your pec muscles, that can help to improve your posture. Okay, pecs are chest muscles, by the way. So Zoe's got an elastic band. Voila. Arms dead straight in front of her.
The closer together your hands are, the harder this exercise is. If you've not done it before, start pretty much at the outside edges of the band, see how it feels. You can always work your way further in.
So here we go. That's good. And you can see that even as Zoe brings her hands in together, there's still some tension on the band. She doesn't let it go floppy like this, okay? It's also a smooth pull apart and she's not jerking it quickly. Do some bad reps quickly.
Oh.
Yeah, nothing's happening here except you might have whiplash across your nipples, which is generally bad. Okay, the focus of the exercise is the squeezing of the shoulder blades together. So that's the whole point of this. So if you can't feel that pinch between your shoulder blades, like you're trying to pinch a 50 pence piece between your shoulder blades, then you're probably doing it wrong. Okay,
Come to your chest
and then squeeze a little bit further. Could you show me from the back? So face away. And you can see there the shoulder blades pinching together nicely, which is going to hit the muscle. This is quite a high rep exercise. So again, today we're going to go for 3 sets of 20 repetitions with about 30 to 60 seconds rest in between.
Make sure that your feet are shoulder width apart.
Yeah.
Your legs are engaged, so have a soft knee, and make sure your hips are tucked under.
Squeeze your bum.
Squeeze your butt.
Squeeze your butt. Or squeeze your butt. Or squeeze somebody else's. Next up, we're going to do the deadlift. It owes a lot to the squat from a muscle recruitment point of view, but there is more focus on the hamstrings, your glutes, and your lower back. Okay, good. On this, you're going to grab the elastic bands as if you're holding the handle of a carrier bag, and you're going to step on both strands. And we're going to start, Zoe, with quite a narrow stance, which will be the least amount of resistance. And again, I'm just going to come from the side, okay, so you can see Zoe's side position, which is, imagine she's trying to close the kitchen drawer with her bum whilst lifting her chest up a little bit, okay, and then the movement is a hip thrust. So in one movement, stands upright, squeeze the bum, and back down again. That's good. I'm going to go back a little bit further, just so you can see her full body. And deadlifts. So there's less of a knee bend than a squat, and more of a hip hinge. So you can see how far Zoe's bum's moving backwards, but her back is completely flat. So hinges back, and then comes all the way. At the top, the main thing she's focusing on is squeezing her bum as hard as she can. Okay, you keep going, Zoe. That's great. So the resistance is coming from the band in her hand, and obviously if you had a thicker band, that would make it harder. The other thing you can do, which I'm going to get Zoe to do now, is to take her feet further apart. And this will also largely increase the weight of the movement. That's good. So the wider stance also hits slightly different muscles. The emphasis is put now onto the glutes and the hamstrings and the inner thighs, and a little bit less off the quads, which are the muscles down the front of your thighs.
Make sure your arms stay straight.
Good cue.
Make sure your shoulder blades stay pinched together. Don't let them get rounded.
Yeah.
Shoulder blades together. Tits and teeth at the top.
Tits and teeth. Okay, I'm going to point the camera at the dog because it's more interesting. But back to Zoe. And there we go, the deadlift. Next up, we're going to do some work for the arms. We're going to do some bicep curls. You're going to hold it as if for the deadlift. So imagine you're carrying a shopping bag handle in each hand, and you're going to stand on the middle, not with 2 feet this time, just with 1 foot. Now you can work up to 2 feet, but it is a lot of extra resistance. And for the bicep curl, which is using the relatively small muscles of the biceps, this is probably going to be enough resistance. Try to make sure that you've got an equal load between your left and your right hand. Okay, and then your other foot is just out of the way. You can have it behind you like Zoe's got, or you could be in a square stance, but I think it's a bit more comfortable to do it as a split stance. And then palms facing forward, all you're going to do is bicep curl. And Zoe's doing them on alternate arms, which you can absolutely do, or you could do it both arms together. That's good. Or another good one is you bring both arms up to halfway to 90 degrees, and you do one all the way up, down, and then back to halfway, and then you do the other one. And this is a great way to put a lot of extra tension in the muscles. Okay, I'll let Zoe continue with just a variety of bicep curls.
Make sure your elbows stay at your sides. Don't jam them into the front and lever off your hip bone. That's cheating.
Yeah.
And we'll know.
We will know. Also, at the top of the movement, don't allow your elbows to lift forward either.
We're not doing this.
Not doing that. Just straight there. Sets and reps on this. We're going to do 20 repetitions, and we're going to do 3 sets. So that's 20 off each side, if you're doing it alternately like Zoe is, or 20 if you're doing both arms together at the same time. 30 to 60 seconds rest in between each round. The bicep curl. Well done. We've changed positions, as you can see, because we now need to use another piece of equipment to help us do this exercise. We've got a handy washing line post.
We may get Dave to pole dance around this at some point in the future.
Oh, it's happening, Charlotte, it's happening. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this band around the pole. Okay, just so it can't slip off. And then feed one end through the other and pull it nice and tight. Now, if you haven't got this, a doorknob works absolutely fine. Okay, make sure that it can't slip off.
And you want to position it so it's at your ribs.
Okay, waist tight.
Waist tight.
Waist tight, because that's what we're trying to work. Okay, and then the start position is Zoe's going to be 90 degrees from that. Okay, so the band is facing, she's facing 90 degrees away from the band, and there's some resistance on the band already. So there's some tightness. She's got hands just on her lower chest, feet are shoulder width apart. I'm going to take one step back and not fall down the massive hole behind me.
And this is a Paloff press with lunge.
Yeah, so we're working 2 things here. The lunge is going to work the legs, and then the Paloff press is going to work the core. Much harder than you'd think from just looking at this exercise. So Zoe's going to step forward into a lunge position, pause, post her arms straight, and that's the Paloff press part of it. The workout comes from resisting the band trying to pull you away. Okay, and again, it's tougher than it looks. And Zoe's going to do 10 reps, and she's going to change legs each time. That's good. So it's lunge, hold the lunge position, and then post. Great workout for the legs. And Zoe's pausing her lunge, so her back knee is about 4 to 6 inches off the floor. Her front knee is not being pushed over her toes. Her head remains over her hips.
And imagine you're stepping forward on train tracks. I don't want one foot in front of the other like a supermodel.
Yeah.
Stepping forward on train tracks, keeping your chest up.
You've also got a lovely shot of our laundry and a bucket in the background there. Okay.
Sets and reps.
Plus a little bit of the treehouse. Oh, sets and reps. So I think I mentioned that already. We're going to do 10 each side. And then we're going to face in the opposite way. So Zoe does that now, because that's working one side of her oblique and ab muscles. Now we're going to work the other side. And there's a nice shot of the laundry and Jim the dog.
That was wobbly.
Was that a bit more resistance than you were expecting?
I think it's the prevailing winds.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of them around here. And again, bends the back knee down towards the floor, but the head remains over the hips the entire time. Tough on that one. We're going to use that post again. Again, a doorknob is absolutely fine. This time we're going to just loop it around the back there. We don't need to tie this one on, okay, because we're going to have our back to it. So he's got our hands into position. That's good. So the exercise, even without the lunge part of it added onto it yet so far, is going to be just a chest press, okay, which would be this. This works the muscles in the chest, the shoulders and the triceps, but we want to try to get a little bit more bang for our buck, so we're going to add in a lunge as well. Okay, so Zoe's going to lunge, then chest press, and then step back, making sure she doesn't brain herself on the post behind her. Okay, that's good. I'm going to come around this way. Get out the bloody way, dog. I tell you what, David Attenborough doesn't put up with this sort of nonsense. Okay, so it's lunge and chest press. And so it's alternating her legs each time. And we're going to try to step behind me, not into the massive hole. There we go. Lunge and chest press. Another thing you can do, if I'll get this to Zoe on this next rep, she lunges down and stays in the lunge position. So lunge forward. Hand adjustments.
Murder on my knuckles.
And now multiple chest press in this position. Okay, so obviously your legs are working super hard here, just supporting your body weight, and then you can just chest press away to oblivion. Sets and reps, 3 sets of 20. We've moved inside for this one, just because it's going to be easier for most people to be able to do this. Everyone's got a door in their house, and all you need to do is loop the elastic band over the door, like so. Make sure it's on at least 4 inches. You don't want it at the very, very edge, okay, but at least sort of 4 inches back. That's about 8 inches, no matter what any other man has told you. Okay, and then feet are shoulder width apart, hips forward, bum tight, okay, and elbows tucked into your ribs. So pull your arms back further there. And then all you're going to do is push your arms down to completely straight and then back up just past parallel. Now this is an absolute killer exercise for the triceps. What are ladies called triceps?
Bingo wings.
Bingo wings. Okay. So here we are working the triceps. These muscles deserve to be punished and need really high reps. So we'll go for 20 reps.
Again, elbows in, don't let it pull your elbows forward.
Yeah.
And don't cheat and come all the way up to your face. Elbows in tight, down, 2/3 of the way up.
It's also a really good ab exercise because you've got to keep your trunk stable while you're doing it. But 3 sets of 20 will set the backs of your arms on fire. Bingo wings, be gone, I say. Oh my God, so impressive. Yeah, kiss the guns.